I once again welcome all the resource person and all the participants and all the students, those who are joined this webinar. Over to Barkatali.
Thank you very much, sir, for your motivational and enthusiastic welcome speech. Now, the introduction of the resource person, Mr. Joeferlin C. Ines, and the
I once again welcome all the resource person and all the participants and all the students.
principal by Professor Muhammad Azim Momin, Department of English, Anjuman PG Studies, Dharwad.
Good afternoon to one and all. Before I start the introduction, I request all the participants to please unmute your devices so that you can listen us, so that we can reach you properly. I am Azim Momin, lecturer, Department of English, Anjuman PG Studies, Dharwad. It's an honor for me to introduce the keynote speaker and resource person of this international event, Mr. Joeferlin C. Ines, Head of Marketing Business Studies, University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shinaz, Sultanate of Oman. Mr. Joeferlin is recognized as an outstanding leader with a rating of 98.7%, outstanding academician, innovative teacher, dynamic lecturer, outstanding overseas Filipino worker from University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shinaz of Oman. Presently, Mr. Joeferlin is working as chairman of Champion Filipino Community Social Club, Sohar of Oman. He is working as head of Marketing Business Studies at University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shinaz of Oman. He also has served as Chief Marketing Strategy Officer at Digolo Commercial PLC, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. He has served as Managing Director and Lead Trainer at Mindshare Consulting, Angeles City. He has served as Assistant Professor and Director, International Business Affairs at Sri Sai College, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Sir has also served as Assistant Facility Administrator at BITSI's RCFE, Santa Rosa, CA, the USA. He has served as Assistant Professor at Holy Angel University, Angeles City, the Philippines. Mr. Joeferlin has attended and conducted a large number of training programs, workshops, seminars, and academic engagements. The list is pretty long. I've shortened it to cover up within the given time. Mr. Joeferlin has done a lot of research work in various fields. His research papers and articles are published in international business magazines and widely known journals with ISSN numbers. Professionally, Mr. Joeferlin Ines is affiliated and a member of a good number of organizations like the Research Council of Oman, Institution of Global Professionals, International Advisory Council for the Marketing Professions, IIMP, and many more. Mr. Joeferlin is a Doctor of Business Administration from SLU, Philippines. He has pursued his PhD in Agribusiness Management from PSAU, Philippines. He has done his Masters of Business Administration from PSAU, Philippines. He has done his Bachelor's of Science in Agricultural Economics from University of the Philippines, PSAU. He has done many certification courses from different institutions like Life Coach certification from New Skills Academy. He is an international masterclass book writer. He has done a certificate course in teaching English as a foreign language from ITT, Thailand. He has done a certificate course in teaching business English from ITT, Thailand. He has done Neuro-Linguistic Programming Certificate course from Academy of Modern Applied Psychology. He has done a certificate course in International Association of Certified Marketing Professionals from IIMP, Canada. He is a Leadership Management from Ateneo Graduate School of Business. He also has done a course in Business Ethics from Philippine Normal University. He has done Teaching Business Education from Business Education Development Program. The list is even pretty long. With this brief introduction, I welcome and present before you all this dynamic, scholar, and excellent personality, Mr. Joeferlin C. Ines. I would like to introduce one more personality here, that is Dr. Nazir Ahmed Makanda, Principal, Anjuman Arts, Science and Commerce College, Dharwad. Dr. Nazir Ahmed Makanda has pursued his MCom, MBA, and PhD from Karnataka University, Dharwad. He is serving in this institution since 1987. He has completed 2 major and 4 minor projects and has published more than 50 research articles in national and international reputed journals. Sir has guided MPhil and PhD students. He is always engaged in work and loves working. With this brief introduction, I present before you workaholic personality, Dr. M.M. Makandar.
Thank you, Professor Muhammad Aziz.
Over to Professor Barkat Ali. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Professor Muhammad Azim Momin, for your wonderful introduction of the today's resource person and principal. Now, the main agenda of the today's program, the lecture by Mr. Joeferlin C. Ines. Now, I would like to request the keynote speaker and today's resource person to talk on the need and importance of research. It's over to Mr. Joeferlin C. Ines.
Good afternoon, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for that exhaustive introduction. I think that's Professor Amin, and of course the indefatigable secretary or the organizing committee, Dr. Anjuman. Thank you so much for inviting me in your prestigious STEAM institution. It is an honor and privilege to be part of your auspicious event, the 7 days multidisciplinary online international faculty development program, which will run from today, August 2 to 2021, up to August, I think the 8th, August 8th, August 2021. I am elated to be part of your academic journey towards excellence. And once again, a pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. I guess we have a lot of participants coming from different institutions, higher education institutions all throughout India and probably outside of India. I would like also to greet the office bearers of your institution. I think they're also with us, the president of the institution, Janab Iqbal Hamadan, the Vice President, Janab Asfaq Ahmed Batagari, the Honorable Secretary, Janab Nasir Hussein Maniyar, as well as the Joint Secretary, Janab Mohammed Shakil Tamatgar, and of course, the Principal of the Anjuman Art Science College Commerce College and PG Studies, Dr. N.M. Makandar, and the members of the organizing committee. Of course, you have Dr. Rahat Onisa, the head of the Department of Economics, the organizing secretary, Dr. F.H. Nadaf, the organizing secretary, as well as Professor R.H. Dadamani, the convener, and Professor Barak Katali Alakeri, co-convener, Mr. Sarfaraj Hamed Mullah, co-convener, and Dr. M.D. Gadagafat Navar, the ICAC coordinator. To you, my dear participants, a good afternoon to each and everyone. Pleasant good afternoon. Foremost, I would like also to congratulate at this point in time the institution Anjuman Arts, Science, Commerce College, and PG Studies for organizing this program. It is a proof that indeed your institution is towards advancing higher education institution, especially during this great, the situation right now that's going on throughout the world because of the pandemic. And it's also a great privilege for an institution to advance, especially for higher education institution, to advance research as a pillar in your trust, in your mission and vision as higher education institution. Conducting research is not an easy task. That's why it's highly recommended and advisable to each and every one of you to participate and to nourish that research activity and that research ingenuity and knowledge so that we can advance more in the chosen field or career that we had chosen. This endeavor, which comes with today's theme, which is application of tools and techniques and research methodology, is somehow a main component of research. As a matter of fact, it is where people or researcher or students struggles, especially me or including me. To start with, I would like to share you my screen. Okay. Is it showing?
No, sir.
No. PC.
Is my screen showing now?
Yes, sir. It's showing.
It went through? Okay, thank you so much for that confirmation. So to start with, I don't know why it's not moving. I guess it already moves. Why there is a research? Why research? We have to confront on this day, and today's session is that we need to establish why research is needed and why it's important. To go through with it, I just want you to realize and to understand the pillars of higher education institution. So what the pillars of higher education institution is learning to know, okay, learning to do, learning to live together, or learning to be. The keywords there in all of these 4 pillars of higher education institution is learning. And we are part of any institution. And all of us, we know that learning is a continuous and a lifelong process. Hence, we go down on the elements of higher education institution, the main domains of higher education institution. We have first the content and curriculum, we have the teaching and learning, we have the accreditation and assessment, we have the research and dissemination, and the administration and leadership. If you try to dissect on all of these elements of higher education institution, research is important. It's like on the content and curriculum, the integration of research would be there. In every curriculum throughout the world, if you want to get an accreditation, if you want to be recognized as a top-notch higher education institution, you have to integrate research on the content of your curriculum and the content of your courses on the subject matter that you're teaching. This is how significant a research is. And then in the teaching and learning, which is a component, from there's a component of assessment. In your assessment, in the teaching and learning, we need to integrate research. From here, we are now training, we are now giving skills to our students and even our colleagues to learn more what are the different facets of research activities. From there also, it follows that we do have the accreditation and assessment. I guess your institution, your respective institutions, wherever you are connected right now or affiliated, we are aiming for accreditation. If not for international accreditation, at least on the national accreditation. Now, in international accreditation, such as the International Accreditation Council for Business Education, as well as the AACSP, research is a main component. If you are weak on the research activity, then you will be facing a problem. Probably you will be struggling to get an accreditation. That's why if you try to look on the major universities and institutions of the world who were recognized or who are part of the QS World University rankings, as well as the Times Higher Education ranking, they have a very strong research culture in their institution. Mine, a lot of institutions throughout the world, probably it happens in India, it happens in the Philippines, it happens elsewhere, even in the institution or in the country where I am right now. A lot of people are conducting research because they were mandated to conduct research. But the point there is the utilization of the research, the significance of the research, the dissemination of the research. A lot of researchers, they were just been archived. They were never being utilized by the institution. They were never being utilized by the society. They were never being utilized by the industry or any academic institution. And the fifth component of this of the higher education institution is the administration and leadership. There is a huge task and a huge responsibility of the higher education institution administration and leadership. Without the funding, without the policy in terms of crafting a research agenda and research team of each higher education institution that are aligned with the vision as well as the orientation, the National Research Council of a particular country, then you cannot conduct your efforts in conducting research will be futile. So we have to consider all of these things. Content and curriculum, the teaching and learning, accreditation and assessment, research and dissemination, as well as the administration and leadership. Integrate research activity in each of these 5 elements of higher education. If you want to have a broader perspective of implementation of research, you know, research it should be done by each and every part or stakeholders of the institution. it is a responsibility of each and everyone. Later on, we have to look on why is there's a need for research, why there's a need, the significance or importance of research. So it follows now, we have to look why research. Generally, if we put into an ordinary parlance, research is going out and going out, reaching out, exploring, uncovering, discovering any gap of body of knowledge, and we seek them. Research is a task that we undertake to find out things that probably not yet within our hands, or we are not yet acquainted on it. And we are trying to establish the gaps in a systematic way, in a scientific way. There is a process that we have to follow. And we need to increase the knowledge of each and everyone. Through research, we can increase our knowledge. And Charles Kettering said, it is an organized method of trying to find out what are you going to do after you cannot do what you are doing now. So the point there is a gap. We try to find out what's going on, what are the needs, what are the problems, what are the concerns, what are the issues. During this time of pandemic, we had a lot of concern in any facet or any sector of our society, whether in business, whether in the medical field, in the information technology, in the local governments, higher education institutions, to our students, our family, to the very every fiber of our institutions of our society. And according to Neil Armstrong, research is creating new knowledge. Correct. We have the responsibility to create knowledge, and not only for that, not only creating knowledge, we need to share, we need to disseminate, we need to utilize, we need to apply all of this knowledge, the body of knowledge that we discovered, we uncover, and we explore. Research means that you don't know, but you are willing to find it out. We don't know something probably right now. Look, more than a year ago, when this pandemic, the COVID-19 strikes us, everyone in the world are scrambling. What could be the solution? What would be the situation? How we address this situation? Even the educational institution, we face problems and challenges. How to adapt with the new way of life? How we deliver the services to our clientele or to our students? We made a way to find out what's the best thing to deal with this situation or with this problem or issues at hand. Right now, there are a lot of restrictions in our way of life, from traveling, from going out, meeting our friends, meeting each and everyone, and even probably the activities within your respective institution. If we knew what we are doing right now, then it would not be a research. Remember, research is finding out. Research is trying to establish what is the gap, what is lacking, what is the problem, what is the issue. That's why, according to Zora Neale Hurston, research is a formalized curiosity. I agree with that. It's a formalized curiosity. When there's a problem, when there's a question at the back of your mind, you try to find ways, try to find the answer to that particular problem or that question that is lingering within your mind. So that is this situation or this research activities or research question born out of curiosity. And there are a lot of perspectives regarding research. One of them is, according to Duncan MacDonald, the common facts of today's are the products of yesterday's research. Correct. We have the products right now. You have your mobile phone, probably, the laptop that you're using, the PC that you're using right now. Without research, we don't have this one. Probably we're still living on a primitive Jurassic age. The vaccination rollout that has been going on throughout the world, if not of the medical community, if not of this incessant research activities or researches conducted by different institutions throughout the world, then probably until now, we don't have these vaccines that are for emergency use. The different things that we are having right now within our life, the comforts that we are enjoying right now are all products of research, even connecting with our relatives from elsewhere. The way we are conducting right now this virtual webinar, without the Without the research, there could be no such advancement on information technology, in communication technology. So what's funny is, I just put it in here, one perspective. It says that if you steal one author, it's called plagiarism. But if you steal from many, it's research. It's a combination of a lot of things. Now, don't be misled with this one. Plagiarism is copying outright of all the activities or all the effort and research output of a researcher or any person or individual. But when you look on the different mindset, the concept, the theories, the hanging questions that they had posed you, then that could be part. From there, you can create a body of knowledge and perspective to go for further research, for further studies. So that's one perspective that we have to deal, and we have to put it in, especially at this point in time. Money won't buy happiness, but it will pay the salaries of a large research staff to study the problem. It's funny because a lot of organizations throughout the world, especially for these think tanks, they're conducting research. These think tanks regarding market research, even the politicians, when they're hiring agencies or organizations for polling, for surveys, they're conducting research. Even for institutions or companies who want to know if the products or services that they intend to offer in the market, they conduct research up to what degree would it be acceptable or not. And it says, according to Ahmed Sawel, investing in a curiosity-driven research is investing in the future. Research is an investment. We invest our time, we invest our money, we invest our effort, we invest practically everything that you can think about, because you're losing some part of your time, probably your valuable time in unearthing those different data. You go for data mining, for analysis of the data, transforming them into information, and probably even when you are conducting or gathering data in itself is time consuming. So these are the things that you have to put in mind. As I said a while ago, research is not an easy task. Research involves a lot of things, but the benefit far outweighs those things that probably you are thinking as a disadvantage of conducting a research. We are now living in a knowledge-driven world. Growth is fueled by knowledge. You want to grow, you need to have knowledge. Without knowledge, it's impossible to grow because you will be stuck up to the mindset that where you are right now. And then with that knowledge, actually it is driven by research. The books that you are reading, the concepts that you have in mind or you have come through or come across with, these theories are driven by research. They are output of research conducted by researchers long time back. And research is a thrust of every higher education institution. Higher education institution, as I said a while ago, one of the elements of true blue higher education institution is to have a good research culture. We need everyone to rally behind on a research endeavor, research activity on the institution. Higher education institution aims to a knowledge reservoir. We are actually a knowledge reservoir. We just have to nurture it. We just have to tap it. We just have to bring it out from our within. We have all that knowledge, but the point there is probably we are in a dilemma. We are probably on that mental barrier if we are qualified or can I do it? So that goes now to the next slide, which is research is a process. Research is full of a lot of questions. What is research? Why do we need to conduct research? Why we have research? How we will be conducting a research? Where we will be conducting the research? When is the proper timing to conduct a research? Who will be conducting the research? Who would be our respondents? Who would be the participant? What would happen to the result? which particular result would be used or utilized. What do we mean by the results that we had generated? What will we do on the results that we have done? For whom that the research intend to? Once we are done with the research, what then? What are the significance of it? Then slowly I would be dissecting further these different questions that we have in mind in research. Research in itself is trying to bring out solution in a particular problem, but research is a full of questions. That's why it's a process of different questions. It's a series of questions that we have to undergo. So, is research important to humanity? Is it good or bad? Bad. I want you to probably type in on the chat box if you agree with it, with me on the statement. Type in yes or type in no in the chat box. Then I'll try to check in if someone responded in the chat box. Please, participants, is research important or not to humanity? Is it good or bad? So there are two questions in here. There's a follow-up questions. Can you type in on the box just for me to know if someone is with me? Dr. Anjuman, sir, am I audible? Dr. Anjuman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think nobody responded on me. I don't know. You get my question? Is the research important or not to humanity? Is it good or bad?
No, your voice is audible, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So, let me check. No one responded. Okay. Now, in my own perspective, research is important to each and everyone. Research is important to humanity. Research is important to this world, especially nowadays during the pandemic. Is it good or bad? It's good to the extent that we are unearthing, we are uncovering various knowledge, body of knowledge. The bad thing is, sometimes, as I said a while ago, the research output that we have were just been archived, they're just put in one corner, nobody touches it. It only became a formality, it only became a tool for probably for promotion in your work, or for personal gratification. Hey, I was able to conduct a research, but then the significance of it was not clearly established to each and everyone. That's why we have to conquer that fear. We have to overcome that barriers why we are not conducting research up to this time, or probably we are not conducting much. Okay, so the next slide is, why are we afraid of conducting research? Okay, first, there's a fear of being criticized. We need to remove that mental barrier of telling I am not qualified. People normally think that if I will conduct this research, my colleagues, my peers, or anyone probably who is more knowledgeable or seasoned researcher would be telling that, hey, your research is not that tangible. I mean, the impact to the society is not much. You have a very simple, a very shallow research undertaking. But the point there is, you start, as they said, the journey. Thank you. The journey 1,000 steps starts with a single step. Someone trying to say a word?
No, sir. It's carry on.
As I said, why are we afraid of conducting research? Or why are not prolific enough to conduct a research? Because there's a fear of Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. So remove that mental barrier. always put it in your heart that you are qualified. The reason you are qualified to conduct a research because you have a passion. You are putting yourself on that particular questions that has been raised or lingering to your mind. If you have a very critical and you have that question in your mind that probably you want to have a good answer, then you are an authority for that particular question, a research question. So get out of your cocoon. Remember, a butterfly before it becomes a very beautiful butterfly, it comes from so it there are struggles before they were able to have that. Okay. Number 2, fear of making changes. We are afraid of going out of our comfort zone. We are afraid to break on and to touch the status quo. We are afraid of making change because probably people, again, would criticize you. People will not believe on you. Remember, people will believe on you, will not believe on you unless you have to believe on yourself. Believe that you can do it, then it follows that people will believe on you. There's no such thing as a secret formula of attaining and prospering of research unless the fear of saying no or disagreement with stakeholders. Sometimes you want to conduct a research, you are interested in particular research, but people or the stakeholders are disagreeing with you. Even during the collection of data, when you, assuming that you're having a focus group, or probably you are gathering data through survey or interview schedule, the people whom you approach while you are doing the random sampling or random asking of people as part of your respondents, they would say no. When you are asking for a support, financial support, emotional support, and or any support group that would be helping you, hastening and fastening and in improving your research output or your research activity, they would say no. You would be facing a lot of things, but of course, you have to overcome these fears. So long as you're inclined to do it, you have to establish the compelling reason why you need to conduct a research. And the end, this compelling reason of conducting research is exactly what motivates and inspires you to finish the task of having a research that would touch each and every one, or probably to a particular segment of the society. And the last fear that we have in mind is always the fear of writing. I don't know the structure. I don't know, probably I'm not familiar of using the different tools and techniques. That's why it's very important also in joining this international event, this 8 days, 7 days international event for faculty development program, because every day you will be learning more on the different facets, the different aspect, parts, or dimension of conducting research, from formulating your research work, okay, crafting your introduction, the research methodology, the data collection, the sampling technique, the probability of sampling, as well as the statistical tool needed to conduct a research, the right way of analyzing, make sure also probably to get rid of the fear of plagiarizing a work of somebody's work, and of course the right way to present the conclusion and eventually writing. Don't be afraid if you don't have deep knowledge on these statistical tools. You can approach anyone probably who is more knowledgeable than you. If you are not very good in writing technical reports, you have probably you have English critics out there, the grammarians or the grammarists. They could help you in putting in the right way or right perspective to be acceptable, not only for presentation, but to be acceptable for publication. And you aim for international publication, not only just a social publication, but of course it's important that you go for a known research publication, international publication. So try to break this barrier, this mental barrier. Again, you are qualified. You can do it. unless you make a step right now, you put it in your heart and your mind that you can do it, there's nothing that you can do. It starts with you. So, why it is needed? It is needed because we discover, uncover, and explore. We discover new things. We uncover new things. As I said a while ago, in the medical field, this vaccine that we are having right now, it's a product of discovery. The understanding the characteristics of this COVID-19, this virus, the emergence of different variants, such as the Delta variant. We came from Alpha, now we have the Delta. I think there is also Lambda variant. That's now all throughout the world. There is a variant that came from South America and South Africa, and even, of course, in India, and then elsewhere. They discover the characteristics. They uncover how this virus would manifest and how it works and how it would do the transmission from one person to another. We explore the possibilities of looking on the medical community, explore on the possibilities of the different remedies, this different medication, different strategies, healthcare management, managing the virus in itself. Right now, they're exploring even for the vaccine, not an injectable vaccine. I guess I read it in the newspaper, credible newspaper, that in the United States, they are now looking for a vaccine that you can only have to take it by a pill, and even in Israel. And even, I guess, even in the Philippines, there's one doctor who would be a priest, a Catholic priest. He's a doctor also, he is young. And he was also into looking on probably this powder that can be used for vaccination in lieu of these injectable vaccines. Why we need to go for research? We describe things that is going on. One particular thing that I've been into, if you're in the business education or business studies, if you're familiar with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I guess all of you are. This concept of theory, it had been established more than 40 decades back, but it is still applicable in different countries, in different perspectives. There was a study in Japan a few years back that they try to question the hierarchy of needs according to Maslow. They try to rearrange the order. There are different dimensions or different needs accordingly, which need to be addressed according to them. So you have to describe that theory just to understand further these concepts, this application, these theories that we have in mind. And of course, elsewhere, you can test the theory, you can put it into proper application or perspective. You conduct experiments in the agricultural sciences, or even in the medical field. You do testing. You do random testing. You have this. You have control of your research or study, and then you have a different variety of combinations of probably medications or probably variables on the particular experimentation that you're conducting. Research also is used for predicting the events that would happen in the future. The climate change, and even the characteristics and how the COVID-19 would be working or going through. They are predicting how fast they would replicate. They will be predicting to what extent such course or activities in vaccination rollout. And it also helps us to explain relationship of different phenomena or different concepts and theories, or probably results of different activities. It explains, it establishes correlationship of different variables. Probably if you are in looking on the performance, the productivity of your workers, the performance management perspective, what is there a relationship between working at home, working from home at the WFH, or doing it remotely, as compared to where you're doing your work on site in your organization in itself? Is there a relationship on the performance of your students when they're doing it through online, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, or a mixed method or mixed mode, or compared to conducting the class face-to-face? So there are a lot of things that you have to brought it out in here. That's why research is needed to know the gap, establish those underlying or underpinning solutions to the challenges that we are confronted in any aspect of our society, whether in the medical field, in the information technology, in the engineering, okay, in the social sciences, in the natural sciences, in language, in business community. It is needed. This is how significant and how important this research is. Research, as I said, it helps you build knowledge and facilitate learning. You learn something new. It facilitates learning. Even us in our status, you, my dear participants, to the organizers and to the office bearers of this institution, Anjuman, knowledge building is a continuous process. And we need to facilitate that learning. As they said, you cannot teach what you don't know. You cannot fill in someone's vessel unless your vessel is filled up. So research now is one way of replicating, of gaining more knowledge to transfer to our learners, to transfer to co-teachers or peers within the academic community. It helps us understand issues and increase public awareness, to understand people, to understand the behavior of consumers, to understand the behavior of people, why they are voting for some segment of the society or this particular party or this individual. We would be having an awareness, why is it that there is a very low turnout of vaccination rollout? Is it because of the culture? Is it because of the fake news? Is it because of different factors? Are they afraid of having this vaccination? There are various reasons. And then from research, we can understand the issues and those underlying issues in terms of understanding the target population or sample that we have in mind. We also help succeed the business, especially when they're conducting research and development effort in every organization. Organization, they're conducting market research just to know to what extent their products or services are marketable, are acceptable within their target market. To what extent they need to improve, to what extent they are connecting with the target market, okay? And then of course, in research, we try to disprove the lies and support the truths. We investigate. A lot of things are going on right now. I don't know, I'm not much familiar with the India, what is the reception of vaccination or vaccine in India. In the Philippines, and even here in Oman, and even in countries that I know, even in Africa, even in the United States, last year, a lot of people are against on the vaccination, and they spread a lot of lies about vaccination. They were thinking that, oh, okay, you'll become zombie after 2 months, or probably the vaccination will be putting a microchip in your body so that they can track you down what you're going. The vaccine far outweighs the worst or the disadvantage compared to the advantages of the vaccine. So the research now would have to disprove the lies and support the truth. It would establish if it is a myth or a fact. Unless you have a systematic, scientific proof or evidence to disprove or to support your statement, then you would not be credible. This is one of the advantage, and this is the reason why we go for research. Next reason why we go for research is find and seize opportunities. Okay. Research, as I said, it's not only a formal way of unearthing or getting knowledge. When you are seeking a job after you finish your studies from the university, or when you are about to start your own business, you do research. You research which company would be hiring this particular degree or education or qualification, which particular career or field of specialization is in demand in the market this year, during the pandemic, after the pandemic, and beyond. Which particular institutions or organizations are giving scholarship? You're also talking about your career options when you are working in academic institution. As I said a while ago, in academic institution, it is now one of the key components for your promotability as an employee is you conduct research. You establish your reputation in the research field. It gives you more reputation as an academic. It's one way of showing it's showing your knowledge, your experiences, and your credibility, your academic significance within the institution. You improve your work performance. How to do, or what's the best way of conducting your job? Probably you would establish a pattern of conducting a work. Even the word ergonomics, okay, ergonomics, the positioning, or even the layout of your offices, it's research. Even how you would be dealing with people, the leadership styles, they have been brought out or uncovered because of research conducted by leadership gurus before. Also, the research promote a love and confident communication. It develops your communication skills, communicating with people as your respondents, gathering data, conducting survey, conducting focus groups, also framing or designing your questionnaires, okay, analysis of the data, okay, writing the report, unearthing literature supporting your study. These are all part of the process of doing your research. It promotes love because, as I said, it engages you to love more what you are doing. Unless you have the passion in research, unless you pour your heart out on doing that particular activity or endeavor, then you would not be into research. Research would not be capable. So you need to hasten, it enhances your communication skills, whether verbal, whether communications, or whether nonverbal communication skills. And it nourishes your mind. While you are conducting research, you are gathering a lot of information. It fuels your mind, it nourishes your mind, and of course, it improves your mental health. These are the different aspects by which research would help you, not only on how you would be contributing to the society in itself. So how important is research? It improves quality of life, of conducting business, or work performance. A lot of people who are conducting what is the best diet, the nutrition balance for people who are suffering from diabetes, from people who are suffering with heart diseases, heart ailments, congenital diseases, or probably if you are obese or you have a problem with you have a sleep disorder, you have a problem also on your balance, then research, the medical field are conducting a lot of researches in here. The nutritionists and the dietitians are conducting a lot of research for this to help us. It improves our quality of life. It helps the business in their performance, in making their operations more effective. It helps to achieve the total quality management perspective within the organization. It helps you in your work performance. You would now be having more knowledge on the time management, the stress management. You have more
disturbance,
working more smart, more knowledgeable in performing your tasks. And these are all product of research over the years. Through research, it empowers you knowledge. It empowers knowledge. It enriches us with the latest knowledge and technology. It sharpens our critical and analytical skills and judgment. We are more confident in conducting our tasks in our job, in dealing with people. The more knowledge you have, the more confident you are. As they said, knowledge is power. If you don't have the knowledge, you would be just sitting in one corner, probably slumbering in there and thinking, shall I go for this breakthrough or shall I go for this opportunity? The question normally is that I will not. Will I or will not? The answer normally is that you would not pursue it because you don't have right knowledge. You were not empowered with that knowledge by virtue of the researches that had been conducted. In itself, when you are conducting research, as I said a while ago, it enriches our knowledge database. We are now a knowledge-driven person. Our growth is based on knowledge. We become more critical and analytical in our skill in making a decision. It gives us more discernment to know what is important to humanity. What are those things that could contribute to the society? You would be establishing your sense of purpose, and there would be a self-gratification from among us. And of course, with that knowledge, it enhances your confidence. It increases knowledge, and you would know what to say. And of course, you would prepare you for further studies. For those who had not yet conducted their dissertation in their doctorate degrees, or those who intend to have a postdoctorate degrees, then it enhances your knowledge when you have a research skills. And of course, the importance of research is it drives progress. It drives progress to the scientific community. I kept on telling you this one: the vaccines, the diagnosis, the prognosis, the treatment of this COVID-19 and other diseases that afflicts us, afflicts the society. Those advancement in automation and digitization, the information and communication technology sector, the business world, okay? In the education sector, you had a lot of breakthrough and milestones on this through that were brought out by the research activity of those researchers put their hearts in doing research for us to generate more, for us to understand more how these things are going on. To go further, I want you to take note of this one vital note. When you're conducting and designing your research, remember your main intent is to contribute to the body of knowledge, to the industry, to the community, and to society. Unless you don't have the compelling reason to conduct a research, then there is no way that you can finish the research that you have in mind, or even a particular research endeavor. Always consider this one. It should contribute to the body of knowledge. You have that passion to add more knowledge to the existing knowledge, to add more to the industry where you are serving right now, to the education sector, to the community where you live, to the society that you represent. Unless you don't have the compelling reason, unless you don't remember and you don't put this as your major intent, your major purpose of conducting that research, then you are half-baked to go through and pursue your research endeavor. So you need to show why your study is worth reading when you have conducted the research. You need to establish why it should warrant or catch the attention of your possible or probable researchers. Establish a compelling reason, as I said, why you need to conduct the research. Why are you conducting this study? You provide the background about your study. You have to determine the gap where you need to establish, where you want to find that research or that study, where you intend to explore more, what you want to describe about the study you want to conduct, what you want to explain, and of course, what could be the application of the body of knowledge or theory that you would be developing. Make sure that you introduce the topics and aims of your study. Unless you have a clear topic, unless you have a clear aim of doing that research, then you would be at a loss. You would not be having the second step. That's why it provides you an overview of the paper that you have to conduct or that you had conducted. And of course, that paper or research would provide a solid foundation that encourages the readers, that encourages the people who are interested in your research, in your paper, focusing your study, on the results, the analysis of your study, and the discussion, and probably the recommendation. And I conducted a research, institutional research way back. Has been, I think, more than 10 years ago, when I conducted the skill sets of graduates. What are the competencies, that the expected graduate attributes and competencies of the industry or the society from our graduates? The compelling reason for me is not because I want to be promoted on the job. It's not because I want to have a research that needs to be published. The compelling reason is that I want to know if our graduates could be employable, if our graduates would be relevant to the society. I want to know also if the skills that we had given to them is the right skills that the industry or the society needs. I need to know if there's a gap. So there is a compelling reason for me to do this. This study was descriptive, but eventually I was able to generate another research on this, looking on the different variables in it, and it became a regression analysis. And then eventually you can do infuse another study in there. It could be a mediation analysis. So therefore, in the first one, you are using a descriptive first generation statistical tool. And then eventually you would be using the second generation statistical tool where you are using PLS-SEM, the structural equation modeling. So these are the things that you have to put in mind. Before I would be probably, I want you to put it on a perspective regarding my experiences, my journey in research. If I was able to do it, you can. As a matter of fact, I've been always telling this to our colleagues at the university. I'm not an academic. I did not started in the academy. I worked in the government for more than 10 years. I was an elected government official back in the Philippines. And then I worked in the industry. I worked in the non-government organization. I work also in different sectors, even in different countries. So, but then when I went to the academy, I realized the significance of research track in a more scientific way. When I was in the industry, we use researchers to look on how competitive we are, how we fare against we try to unearth different situations or conditions or consequences of the actions that we need to do. First, in my own case, my first impression is it's only for academic requirement. I conduct research because it's a requirement of my institution. It's a requirement to get promoted on the job that I have. I get more points to get promoted. Okay, that's the first impression that I have. And then, of course, I said one of the stumbling block on me is there's the birth pain, the failures and fears of conducting a research, in writing a research. I was able to overcome those because I do have a compelling reason. I find the compelling reasons to conduct a research. And I know now the significance of research in the workplace, how it is being utilized, what is the relevance, how it would be used for the organization, how it would improve the reputation of the institution where I'm working, it increased the reputation of the institution, how it would help the society, and as a whole, humanity. Remember, there is this impact to the society and to yourself. There is this personal branding. Once you conduct a research, you can establish network to researchers. You can be an authority on the field of research. You can have the integrity, you have the right perspective, and you have the right to talk and communicate about research, especially to the research that you had conducted, especially when they are significant, when they're about to be utilized by a certain segment of the society or the community that you had identified to be the situs, to be the locale of your study. At this point in time, my research interests are into entrepreneurship, into strategic management, into pedagogical approaches in business education. I'm also into market research in human resource perspective. And I hope I could go more further in other fields. The future implications of research, of course, to myself, I will be generating more knowledge, to impart to fellow researchers, to students, and educators, and to the society. The implications of researchers right now, we are trying to unearth, reposition ourselves to fit in the new normal, to fit in with the conditions and situations brought about by this COVID-19 because of this pandemic and beyond. So, my dear participants, the questions that we have in mind probably is, what's in it for me? Always remember, research is a journey. Enjoy the process. Think of the end result, that you will be contributing to the humanity, to society, to your respective institution, to the workplace, and to the community, and of course, to yourself. Know your purpose in life. If your purpose is to be meaningful, then research can be a path to be meaningful. In your life, do not look for the meaning. Create the meaning. Always think deeper. Discover, uncover, explore, experiment, apply, predict, and explain the relationship of phenomena. Thank you so much for being with me and staying with me. Thank you so much, Anjuman Arts, Sciences, Commerce College, and PG Studies. A pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for enlightening us by sharing the view about the need and importance of research. Sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.
So much. I'll just have to remove my sharing.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's okay. According to Maxim, all progress is born of inquiry. Doubt is often better than overconfidence, for it leads to inquiry, and inquiry leads to investigation. Research includes scientific and inductive thinking, and it promotes the development of logical habits of thinking and organization. The same we realized from your lecture, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
The last event of today's program. To ask any questions to the resource person. If anybody want to talk with resource person, kindly show the hand signal in front of your name so that we can go one by one. Or you can put the question in chat box also. If any queries or any questions, you are free to ask. Okay, I think no questions. The last event of today's international faculty program, development program is Vote of Thanks. I request Dr. Rahat Ulisa, Head Department of Economics, Management, Arts and Commerce College and Business Studies, Harvard, to thank everyone.
Good evening, everybody. It's rightly said by Joeferlin in the end that research is a journey. Yes, it is true. We have to travel in this journey and continue this journey till the end of our life. So hope those who have joined here will inculcate this in their life. So first of all, I would like to, that is Honorable Office Bearers of the Bearers and Anjuman Arts Science Commerce College and PG Studies Harvard. Respected resource person, beloved principal, learned colleagues, teachers, teacher friends and students, participants. A very good evening to everybody. At the outset, On behalf of the principal, staff, and erudite participants, I thank vibrant, honorable office bearers and education board members of Anjuman-e-Islam, Dharwad, for their valuable support and encouragement in organizing this international webinar. Thank you all. On behalf of the principal, staff, and participants, I thank today's laudable and luminous resource person, Joeferlin Ines, Head of Marketing Business Studies, University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Shinas, Sultanate of Oman, for enlightening the young minds of our participants by his meticulous presentation. Thank you very much, sir. I extend my thanks to zealous and fervent principal of our college, Dr. N.M. Makanda, for his valuable support and guidance. Thank you, sir. Similarly, I thank Dr. F.H. Nadav, Head Department of Statistics, Dr. R.H. Dodmani, Head Department of Commerce, convener of this FDP, Barkat Ali sir, co-convener, Professor Sarfaraz Mullah, Dr. N.V. Gudganawar sir, and the ICAC coordinator of our college. Last but not least, I thank the prospective research participants from different parts of the country and outside the country for their overwhelming response in making today's program a success. I thank one and all. I request all the participants to join tomorrow at 3:30 to hear Dr. Nagu sir on sampling techniques. Link will be shared in the WhatsApp groups. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. This is the end of this today's session. So I request all the participants to join tomorrow at 3:30. The next topic, sampling techniques. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice time.
Thank you so much. A nice day.